This guide is written by a tank for a tank. You can still follow it if you are DPS, but you won't be a big tank if you don't roll the best roll in the game. When entering the dungeon, make sure to check if the dungeon even has any relevant loot. If it doesn't, just insta-leave and wonder why you even queued up in the first place. Does it give anything useful? Great, we can explain the dungeon now. Always greet your fellow party members. This is the most important part of the dungeon. Before going in the first pack, setting the focus to your healer might help tracking its mana. You don't want to go in when their mana is low. Going into any pack, you should just use any useful defensive cooldown. This does not mean you should use Anti-Magic Shell into any full physical pack. Are you an Edgelord Blood Death Knight like I am? Always use Bone Shield before any fight and you start with your D&D. You might be thinking, what does D&D stand for? Well, in the old times, also known as like 1974, it was for Dungeons and Dragons. But since the release of a Death Knight in World of Warcraft, you can also use it for Death and Decay. The first boss, General Hussam, places bombs around the ground. Don't stand in them or near them. After some time he detonates them. And you will die or get thrown around the place like I might have done myself. Shockwave. Don't stand in the earth-like lines. You will shockwave when done casting. And always be happy when you sold something on the auction house in the middle of a dungeon. You might notice being top DPS on packs as a tank. Vengeance is a thing now in Cataclysm and it's a bit overtuned. But I wouldn't complain being able to tank and top DPS at the same time. Lokmal and Aug. You start off with the Crocodile who doesn't do a lot. Well, unless you are a melee DPS who stands in his back. Don't do that during Dustflail. Baby Crockies come during the fight. Dealing damage don't get you any aggro, but they die quickly. You can taunt one of them, but it's best just to stack and nuke them. You have to pray your minions understand this as well. Crocodile, Aug next. He does Dragon's Breath, it hurts a bit. You can get out of it if you are human or have some PvP trinket. Get out when he does Whirlwind. You wouldn't want to stand near someone who wants to be a fidget spinner while wielding a sword. Built a bit too much? Pray you have a decent healer and use every cooldown you have. Oh yeah, being level 85 is also handy for doing any heroic dungeon. High Prophet Barim. You can nuke the ads, it worked for us. Around like 50% HP you will get into the Shadow Realm. Kill the Phoenix here as well and kill the souls that might spawn. If you are a fat tank you can practically one-shot the souls. Once out of the realm it's the same as the first part again. Going into the last boss the healer just like strikes my ego. They really are just like nurses. Tiamat will get an immunity shield a few seconds into the fight. You must kill 3 servants of Tiamat to break the shield. When this is done, he will throw you and your minions around for a few hours.
1 hour later.
He might try to absorb some storms. Anyone can just use some regular defensive here to lower the damage. We must keep the healer happy as well. Boss dead? Celebrate your achievement. Unless you already did this dungeon and lied to me that you need a guide. No loot for you? Be sad and claim the gold you got from your sold auctions earlier. Like, comment and subscribe if you think this was an acceptable guide. Share it with anyone who wants to be a tank or didn't hear of World of Warcraft at this point in time. Okay, bye.